Hi everyone, and welcome to Heather's Happy Stitches. I'm Heather. Today we are doing day 5 of 365 days of granny squares, and today we are going to be doing a modified granny square. This granny square is half solid, half traditional, but we are still only going to be using 2 colors. So this one is just a classic purple. It looks a lot darker on screen, but it is purple. And this one is gray, just regular plain old gray. All right, and then as always we are going to be using a 5.5 millimeter hook, scissors, and a tapestry needle. So the first thing we are going to do is we're going to make a slip knot, and we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to slip stitch into the first one to create a ring, and in the center of the ring, which is right here, this one here, not this one, this one is the slip stitch, or the slip knot, the one we slip stitched into. You don't want to go into that one, you want to go into this middle ring here. So the first thing we're going to do is chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that counts as our first double crochet and a chain 2. So then we're going to double crochet into the center 3 more times. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2, do another set of 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2, do another set of 3, 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to double crochet twice, because this chain here counts as our third. So double crochet twice, 1 and 2. So now we're going to slip stitch into the third of the chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So we're just going to slip stitch into here. All right, we're going to keep this same color for the next round. So chain 1, and then into this same stitch here, we're going to single crochet. And into this chain 2 space, we are going to single crochet 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now into these double crochets we are going to single crochet. So you're going to slide this a little over to get access to the chain space here. Can you see that? Right there. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to single crochet 4 into this chain 2 space. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to single crochet into the next 3. 1, 2, 3, and then single crochet 4 times into the chain 2 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to, so I'm going to do the rest of this around. So it's single crochet into the chain 3 space, or single crochet into each of these 3 double crochets, put 4 single crochets into the chain 2 space, and then single crochet these 3, and I will move back up to you when I get to that point. Okay, so I put 2, I single crocheted into these 2 because this one we did the original, the starting single crochet into. So we're just going to slip stitch into that one. To connect. And now we're going to fasten off and change colors. I'm not going to weave in this end right now because I want to know exactly where we came out of, right there. So when we're all done, I will weave in this end. But for now, I'm just going to tuck it away. And now we're going to get our gray color. And we're going to make a slip knot. And we are going to go in exactly where this one slip stitched into. It says chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet into that same stitch. And then single crochet into the next stitch. Now we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down here we're going to skip 2 stitches. 1, 2, and we're going to single crochet into the next 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to skip 2 stitches, skip, skip, and then single crochet into the next 5. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to single crochet or chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip 2 stitches. 1, 2. Single crochet into the next 5. And that is the pattern for the other corner also. So, except for in this one, you're only going to be single crocheting into 3 on this side. So I'll do this off camera, and I will meet back up with you when we have finished crocheting our last 3. Alright, so I just finished my 3rd single crochet, and we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch we made. And we're going to keep this color for the next round also. So for round 4, we are going to slip stitch over into the corner space. Alright, so now we're in the corner space. So now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and that counts as our first double crochet. Sorry, I had a wad in my yarn. So that counts as our first double crochet, and we're going to do 2 more into the chain 5 space. Chain 2, 1, 2, and do 3 more. 1, 2, 3. You're going to chain 2, skip 2 stitches. So that's 1, 2. We're going to single crochet or double crochet into the 3rd space. And we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and then we're going to go straight into the corner space. So we're going to double crochet 3 times, 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2, 3 more times, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2, skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, go into the 3rd, double crochet, chain 2, 1, 2, and then go skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and then do 2 sets of 3 into this 5 chain space. 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2, and then the second set of 3, 2, 3. And then we're going to do it again. Chain 2, 1, 2, skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, double crochet into the third, chain 2, 1, 2, skip 2 stitches, and that brings us back into the 5 chain space. So we are going to again do a set of 3 double crochets, chain 2, and then another set of 3 double crochets. 2, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, go into the third, double crochet, chain 2, 1, 2, and then slip stitch into the top of your chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. Whoops. And then we're going to change colors. And again, I will weave in this end later because we need to know exactly where we came out. So go into the same stitch that the gray yarn came out of. Going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to double crochet into the next two stitches. So this is 1 and 2, and that brings us into the chain 2, oops, that brings us into the chain 2 space. Then we're going to do a set of 3, chain 2, another set of 3.
3, chain 2, 1, 2, 3.
And now we're going to double crochet into the next 3 stitches. And for the first stitch, don't forget you have to move these over a little bit to get access to it. It's right there. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to double crochet twice into the chain 2 space. 1, 2, and chain 1. We're going to skip this stitch, and then we're going to double crochet twice into the chain 2 space. 1, 2, and then double crochet into the next 3. 1, 2, and 3. Oh, excuse me. And that brings us to the corner space again. So we're going to do 3 sets, a set of 3 double crochets, chain 2, and then another set of 3 double crochets. And then we're going to do the same thing we did on the other side. Is double crochet into each of these, double crochet twice into the chain space, skip chain 1, skip this space, 2 double crochets into here, and then 3 double crochet into each of these stitches. That's 1, 2, 3, 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2, skip this stitch, 2 double crochets into this. Oops. Now double crochet into each of these stitches. 1, 2, 3. So that's the whole pattern. So you do a set of 3 double crochets, chain 2, a set of 3 double crochets, double crochet into each of these stitch, double crochet into the chain 2 space, chain 1, skip a stitch, chain or 2 double crochets into this chain space, and then 3 double crochets into each of these stitches. So I'll just finish that up off camera, and I will meet back up with you when that is all done. If you don't remember the pattern, feel free to rewind to get the whole pattern, or to get a recap of the pattern. Alright, so we got to the original chain 3, so we got 1, 2, 3, so we're going to slip stitch into the chain 3. So that's 1, 2, 3. And we are going to change colors again. Alright, so I'm going to go back to the gray, and this time it does not matter where you start, as long as you start in a corner. So we're going to pick this corner. Any corner will do. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to double crochet 2, 1, 2, chain 2, 1, 2, do 3 more, 1, 2, 3, and now we're going to skip a stitch, which is here, this one here, we're going to double crochet into this stitch. And now we're going to double crochet into the stitch we skipped. And then we're going to skip a stitch and double crochet into the next stitch. And then double crochet into this stitch we skipped. There's a knot right there. I think it's a factory knot. And then we're going to skip a stitch, double crochet in there, and then double crochet into this stitch we skipped, and then skip a stitch, double crochet, and then double crochet into the stitch we skipped. And now we've come to the chain one space. So we are just going to double crochet into that space. Now we're going to start all over. So skip a stitch, a double crochet into the next stitch, go back to the stitch we skipped, skip a stitch, double crochet, go back to the stitch we skipped, skip a stitch, double crochet into the next stitch, go back to the stitch we skipped, oh, that one didn't work good. And then one last time, skip a stitch, go into the next stitch, go back. Now we're at a corner. We're going to do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. And then we're going to do the same thing. Skip a stitch, double crochet into the next one, double crochet into the stitch we skipped. Skip a stitch, double crochet into the next one, double crochet into the stitch we skipped. Skip a stitch, double crochet into the stitch we skipped, or not yet. Now go back and double crochet into the stitch we skipped. Skip a stitch, double crochet into the next stitch. Go back and double crochet into the stitch we skipped. And now we're at our chain 1 space, so we're just going to double crochet once into that space. So now we're going to do it again. Skip a stitch, double crochet into the next stitch, go back, skip a stitch, go into the next one, go back to this stitch we skipped. Now skip a stitch, chain one or double crochet, go back, double crochet, and one more time. Skip a stitch, double crochet, go back, double crochet. All right, so now we are at our next corner. So all you're going to do is do a set of 3 double crochets, chain 2, a set of 3 double crochets, and then skip a stitch, double crochet into the stitch we skipped, skip a stitch, double crochet, go back and double crochet, skip a stitch, double crochet, go back, skip a stitch, double crochet, go back, skip a stitch, double crochet, go back, and then just double crochet into this chain 1 space and then do it again on this side. So I'm going to do that off camera, and I will meet you back up when I'm done. Alright, so I just finished my last X, and I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 3. And then fasten off. Alright, now that I've done that and could have potentially just messed up, let's just double check that this is 6 inches. Oh, 5.5. Darn. 5.5. So you know what I'm gonna do? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get my purple back. Because we don't want to make it too high, so we're not going to put a full double crochet into it. So I'm just going to chain 1, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2, 3. Excuse me. And then just single crochet in all of them around. That sounds like a good idea. And at this point, I mean, what do we have to lose, right? Alright, so I just finished that border, and I'm going to just slip stitch into it and fasten off again. Oopsie daisy. And this block will definitely need to be blocked. Not now, obviously, because we're going to be attaching it to the blanket. And that did it. I knew it would work. Alright, so I'm just going to go off camera and weave in all of these ends, and then we will attach. We will attach it. We'll put the border on it and attach it to our blanket. Alright, so I got all of my ends tied in, except for this one that I'm going to leave there. I got all of my ends tied in. So we're going to attach it. But what we learned from this one, if you watched the episode for that one, if you haven't, I will leave a card at the end of the end so that you can watch it, or any of the other three. That you cannot go into this blindly, you know, because you got big jumps here, and then there was another big jump here, really big jump here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it a little differently. Because the stitch count is not the same. So we're just going to pick a wee little corner. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, and then do 2 double crochets. Chain 2, 1, 2, double crochet, 3 more, 2, bleh. 2, 3. Alright, and then we're going to count, but we're going to skip 2 and go into 3, but instead of just doing all 3 into this one stitch here, we're going to spread them out over 3 stitches. It'll essentially do the same thing, but it'll make it so that we have less stitches to get throughout the thing. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, and then double crochet into the next 3. 1, 2,
Mom is busy. Hey.
3, we're going to chain 1 to give it a distinct gap, and then we're going to 1, 2, double crochet into the third, 1, 2, 3, chain 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to fast forward through the rest of them and see if we get the right number. So we're on 4. and chain 2, 1, 2. So let's see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. And then we're going to double crochet into this one again. And since all of the, oops, I almost forgot to connect. Now we're going to connect. And then we're going to go into the corner. 1, 2, 3. We're going to skip 2. 1, 2, go into the third one. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to connect. And we're going to skip 2. 1, 2.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Into the third. 1, 2, 3. Hey, Mommy, what? Would you give me some jug now? Yeah, give me a minute. Skip 2. 1, 2, 3. Skip 2. 1, 2. Oops, I forgot to connect here.
Now I'm just going to fast forward it through me. I'm just going to reconnect up until where I was off camera, and then I will come back. Alright, so I'm back where we were at the corner. So I'm just going to go into the corner and do the 3, 2, 3, chain 1. Yes, Jaden, I will get you a chocolate milk. Give me a minute. And then go back in. 1, 2, 3. Chain 1. Then we're going to do the same thing we did before. Skip 2, 1, 2. Go into the third one. 1, 2, 3, chain 1, 1, 2, 3, chain 1,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Alright, so now I'm going, since we saw me do the pattern 3 times, I'm going to do this section off camera after I get my son some chocolate milk. So I will come back when that's all done and we will see the finished results. Alright, so I am just fastening off. And I will weave this in later. But look. So it looks a little different, but it looks good. It doesn't look warped and there aren't giant leap marks like this one has. So this one was a very good learning experience for us about assuming you had the right, because it was 6 inches, that we could do the right stitch count all the way around, but you cannot. So, but here it is, all finished and complete. And I really like the colors of the purple and gray together. So maybe I'll do some more purple and yellow. I think you will see a repeat of all of these colors at some other point in the 365 days. But I have a myriad of colors yet to use, and a 360 more patterns to do. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Have a great day.